There's one small bathroom habit I've seen again and again in my patients. And honestly, the consequences can be far more serious than most people ever imagine. Many folks, right after dinner or after taking their evening medication, step straight into the shower, letting warm water run down their shoulders, thinking it'll help them sleep better. Sounds harmless, right? Maybe even relaxing. But that very moment, that innocent routine, can quietly open the door to a stroke risk most people never realize. Picture this. After you eat, your blood naturally shifts toward your stomach to help with digestion. At the same time, when you shower in warm water, your skin pulls more blood toward the surface to cool your body. And your brain, that delicate, remarkable brain, the keeper of your memories, your words, your smile, suddenly gets less blood, less oxygen. All it takes is one slow moment in circulation, and a tiny clot can form. By morning, you might wake up unable to move one side of your body or struggle to form simple words. I once had a patient, Mrs. Thompson, 76 years old. Every evening, after dinner, she'd take her blood pressure medication and head right to the shower. She believed that warm water helped her unwind. But one night, just minutes after stepping out, she grew dizzy and collapsed. At the hospital, brain scans revealed an ischemic stroke caused by the combined effects of her medication, digestion, and the warm water pulling blood away from her brain. I know, it sounds frightening that something so ordinary could be so dangerous. But at 60 or 70, our bodies don't respond like they did at 30. Blood vessels become stiffer, the heart pumps a little slower, and the brain needs a steadier, more mindful kind of care. So next time you think about stepping into the shower right after dinner, pause for a moment. Give your body time to rest, to balance its circulation, and then take your shower. That small act of patience might be the difference between a peaceful night's sleep and waking up in a hospital bed. Tell me, doesn't that make you stop and think?
Have you ever tried taking a cold shower in the middle of winter and felt your heart start pounding fast? Many people say cold showers wake you up, make you feel younger, even stronger. And maybe that's true when you're 25 or 30, when your blood vessels are still elastic and your heart still powerful. But at 60 or 70, your body doesn't respond the same way anymore. When that icy water hits your skin, your blood vessels constrict instantly. Blood pressure surges like a wave, and your heart strains to push blood through vessels that have stiffened with age. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Jennings, a former firefighter, strong, disciplined, proud of his toughness. He believed cold morning showers would keep his heart healthy. For a week, he felt great, more alert, more alive. But one morning, just after finishing his shower, he collapsed in his bedroom. By the time he reached the hospital, scans showed he'd suffered a stroke. That sudden cold shock had spiked his blood pressure so high it caused tiny tears inside his vessels. The blood clotted, blocking circulation to his brain. I want you to imagine this. Your blood vessels are like old water pipes, weathered by time. When pressure rises too suddenly, the walls can crack. In the human body, those tiny cracks can become the first spark of a stroke. That's why the stroke risk from cold showers isn't something older adults should take lightly. So instead of challenging yourself with freezing water, choose a gentler path. Start with warm water, then cool it gradually if you want that refreshing sensation. Let your body adjust slowly, as if you're speaking softly to your heart. I know you've worked hard for decades. Now I want to treat you with kindness. Because sometimes taking care of yourself isn't about proving strength. It's about listening to the quiet limits within your body. And with that one small change, you give yourself the gift of waking up each morning with a clear mind and a peaceful heart.
Do you have a habit of showering late at night? Many people tell me it's the quietest moment of their day, when the chores are done, the kids are asleep, and they can finally enjoy a few peaceful minutes under the warm water. I completely understand that feeling. I used to find comfort in it myself. But at 60, our bodies no longer respond the way they did at 30. And what feels like a soothing ritual can sometimes become a silent bridge to a stroke risk you never saw coming. When you shower late at night, your body temperature rises, just when your natural rhythm is trying to cool down to prepare for sleep. This sudden change dilates your blood vessels, draws blood toward your skin, and causes fluid loss through sweat and steam. The result? Blood pressure drops, your blood thickens, and the flow to your brain slows down. I've seen it happen many times in my years of practice. That quiet, peaceful moment before bed turning into the spark of a stroke in the middle of the night. I remember Mrs. Carter, one of my patients, 79 years old, healthy, sharp, independent. Every night around 11 p.m., she'd take a warm shower before bed. One morning, her daughter called and noticed her mother's speech was slurred. When she arrived, Mrs. Carter was sitting on the couch, eyes confused, her right arm limp. The scans later confirmed she'd suffered a stroke during sleep, triggered by late-night showering and dehydration she didn't even realize was happening. You see, sometimes the moments we think of as personal peace can quietly put our health at risk. I want you to ask yourself, is that brief sense of relaxation worth waking up one morning unable to move half your body? Make one small change. Take your shower earlier in the evening. Drink a glass of water afterward. Give your body time to settle before going to bed. That simple adjustment can protect your brain, ease your heart, and give you a night of truly safe, restorative sleep.
You know, almost all of us have had those long, exhausting days, the kind that leaves your whole body aching by the time you get home. And what's the first thing most people want to do? Step right into the shower to wash the fatigue away. It sounds perfectly reasonable, doesn't it? But after 60, that simple decision can quietly turn dangerous. When your body is worn out, your circulation is already struggling to keep up. Blood pressure can drop easily, and in the warm, humid air of the bathroom, the risk of fainting, falling, or even suffering a stroke rises sharply, much higher than you might imagine. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Wallace, 72 years old. He'd spent the entire afternoon working in his garden under the hot sun. When he came inside, drenched in sweat and short of breath, he went straight into the bathroom to take a shower. Just a few minutes later, his wife heard a loud thud. She rushed in and found him lying motionless on the floor. We managed to get him to the hospital in time, but scans showed he had suffered a transient ischemic attack, a brief lack of blood flow to the brain. His blood pressure had dropped too fast, and for just a moment, his heart and brain didn't get the oxygen they needed. Try to imagine it. When you're exhausted, your heart is already working overtime just to keep rhythm. If you add the sudden temperature change of a shower, the blood rushes toward your skin and away from your vital organs. That's when stroke risk and the danger of falling sharply increase, especially in a slippery, enclosed space like the bathroom. So what can you do instead? It's simple. When you come home tired, give your body 20 to 30 minutes to rest. Drink a glass of water. Sit quietly. Let your heartbeat and blood pressure return to balance. Only when you feel steady, then take your shower. I often tell my patients there's never a reason to rush when it comes to caring for yourself. A shower can wait, but one fall or one stroke can change the rest of your life. Be patient with your body. Treat it with kindness. Every moment of good health you have today is a priceless gift for tomorrow. And what about you? Have you ever taken a shower while feeling completely exhausted? Share your thoughts with me. I'd love to know your story.
I know that feeling. After a long day, your muscles are tight, your shoulders ache, and you think, there's nothing better than standing under a stream of hot water before bed. It feels like a warm embrace, doesn't it? As if every worry melts away with the rising steam. But what many don't realize is that this very comfort can quietly hide a danger, one that threatens both your heart and your brain. When hot water touches your skin, your blood vessels expand instantly, like rubber bands being stretched. For a younger person, the body adjusts quickly, but at 60 or 70, those vessels have lost their flexibility, and the heart no longer pumps as strongly as it once did. The result? A sudden drop in blood pressure and a slower, less stable flow of blood to the brain. And in that fragile moment, a small blood clot can begin to form, silently waiting to cause a stroke in your sleep. I still remember Mr. Reynolds, one of my patients, age 74. He loved his late-night hot showers, said it was the only way he could fall asleep peacefully. One evening, after stepping out of the bathroom, he told his wife he felt a little weak, but didn't think much of it. The next morning, she found him unable to move the right side of his body. It was a full-blown stroke, triggered by sudden shifts in blood pressure and circulation from that late, hot shower. I want you to imagine this. Your brain is like a finely tuned clock. It depends on a steady, even flow of blood to keep its rhythm. When that flow slows or stutters, the clock stops, and not every clock can be rewound. That's the true nature of stroke risk. So, what can you do? My advice to patients is simple. If you love warmth, choose moderately warm water, not hot, and shower earlier in the evening. Then, drink a glass of water afterward to replace what you lose. With just that small change, you'll still find relaxation, but without putting your safety on the line. Remember, the things that feel most comforting aren't always what's best for your health. Awareness and balance. Those are the real gifts you can give your heart and your brain.
There's something I often hear from my patients. Doctor, I shower several times a day. It makes me feel cleaner, healthier. And I understand that completely, especially for those who are meticulous or live in warm climates. But sometimes what seems like a harmless habit can quietly put strain on the body in ways we don't realize. Every time you shower, your body has to readjust its internal temperature to match the outside environment. Once or twice a day is fine, but when you shower too often, that regulation system starts to lose balance. Your body temperature swings back and forth, you lose more water through steam and sweat, and your blood becomes thicker. The circulatory system, already weaker with age, has to work harder to keep pace. And when that happens, both your heart and your brain can slip into a state of low oxygen, increasing stroke risk without any warning signs. I remember one of my patients, Mrs. Lawrence, age 68. She was extremely diligent about personal hygiene, showering 3 to 4 times a day, especially during summer. She always said she felt refreshed afterward. But one afternoon, right after a shower, she suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed in her bathroom. When we examined her, she had severe low blood pressure and an irregular heartbeat. Thankfully, it wasn't a stroke, but as any cardiologist would tell you, she was standing dangerously close to that edge. Think of your body like a car that's been running for decades. If you keep speeding up and slowing down, shifting gears constantly, that engine wears out faster. Overshowering does the same thing to your internal engine, forcing your body to keep recalibrating over and over again. So what's the solution? You don't have to give up your showers, just moderate them. Once or twice a day is plenty. If you feel hot or sticky, try wiping your body with a damp towel, or drink a cool glass of water to help your body adjust from within instead of shocking it repeatedly with water. Remember, balance is the true foundation of good health. Sometimes, skipping just one extra shower can give you one more steady heartbeat and one more clear, peaceful morning with a healthy brain.
Do you see a bit of yourself in this story? Share your thoughts with me. Let's learn from each other's experiences. Have you ever stepped out of the shower, looked into the mirror, and seen nothing but a thick layer of steam, the kind that makes even breathing feel heavy? Most people think it's harmless, just normal humidity. But after decades as a cardiologist, I can tell you, that foggy air can quietly hide a very real danger. When you stay too long in a closed bathroom, the steam in the air gradually reduces the amount of oxygen available. You can't see it, but your body feels it. Your heart begins to beat harder, trying to push enough blood to your organs, while your blood itself becomes thicker and your circulation slows down. And when blood flow slows, tiny clots can form, silent threats that can block circulation to your heart or brain, raising your stroke risk without warning. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Richard, 72 years old, who lived alone. He loved long, steamy showers with the bathroom door closed, saying it made him feel like he was at a spa. But one evening, after nearly 25 minutes under the water, he stepped out, felt dizzy, and collapsed to the floor. When we examined him, he had suffered a transient ischemic attack, a temporary blockage of blood flow to the brain. It was his body's way of saying, enough. Thankfully, his family found him in time and brought him to the hospital before it turned into something worse. You see, the things that feel harmless often carry hidden traps. Picture this, a closed room, thick with steam, and you standing there, breathing air that holds less and less oxygen. Your body won't shout or scream right away, but inside, your heart is straining, your blood is slowing, and a tiny clot could break free and travel to your brain in the blink of an eye. So what's the simple fix? Don't turn your bathroom into a sealed box. Crack open a window. Turn on the exhaust fan. Keep your showers short. You don't need 20 or 30 minutes to feel clean. Sometimes 10 minutes is more than enough to refresh your body without exhausting it. Remember this, a bathroom is not a spa, and heavy steam isn't a sign of relaxation. It's a quiet warning from your circulatory system. Protect every breath you take, because doing so means protecting your clarity, your independence, and your life itself. You've probably heard people say that taking a cold shower in the morning can wake you up, boost your energy, and prepare you for a productive day. For a young, healthy person, that might be true. But once you're past 60, your heart and blood vessels don't respond the same way they used to. And that sudden jolt of cold water can be more than just a shock to your senses. It can be a real threat to your brain and heart health. When cold water suddenly hits your skin, your blood vessels constrict instantly. Blood pressure spikes like a crashing wave, forcing your heart to pump harder. If your arteries have already stiffened or narrowed with age, that internal collision can cause tiny tears along the vessel walls. What happens next? The body tries to repair the damage by forming a blood clot. But that very clot can travel to the brain, raising your stroke risk and stealing away clarity and independence in a single moment. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Jennings, 69 years old, a former firefighter. He prided himself on being tough, keeping up his morning routine of cold showers. "I want to prove I'm still as strong as I was when I was young," he told me. But one morning, just minutes after stepping out of the shower, he collapsed in his bedroom. When his family brought him in, we confirmed he had suffered an ischemic stroke triggered by the cold shock of that early morning routine. Imagine this, an old, dry branch on a tree, stiff and brittle. What happens if you try to bend it suddenly? It snaps. The same goes for our aging blood vessels. What the young body can endure, the older one must approach with care. If you crave that refreshing feeling in the morning, start with warm or mildly cool water. Let your body adjust slowly, then lower the temperature gradually. That's the smart way to awaken your system, to feel alive without putting your heart or brain at risk. Remember, true alertness doesn't come from a shock of cold. It comes from steady breathing, good sleep, and respect for your body's limits. Don't let a small habit take away what matters most: your health, your memory, your freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me through this message. These words come from years of experience and from my heart. If this helped you, please subscribe and share this video so that someone you love can learn how to protect themselves too.